Oh yeah. Bismillah walhamdulillah. Bismillah walhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tamassaka bi sunnatihi bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all those who follow upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day. To proceed, ya ikhwan, Allahumma علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وربنا زدنا علما والحمد لله رب العالمين. Oh Allah, we ask that you teach us that which will benefit us, and you benefit us with that which you have taught us. And oh Allah, we ask that you increase all of us upon knowledge, and all praise belong to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. اللهم اهدنا لأحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت واصرف عنا سيئ الأخلاق لا يصرف عنا سيئها إلا أنت. Oh Allah, we ask that you guide us to good character, that verily no one can guide us to good character except you. And we ask that you keep away from us evil character, that verily no one can keep away from us evil character except you. طيب. فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من اللغة العربية as we continue to learn, educate ourselves, deriving benefit from the science of the Arabic language. The science of the Arabic language. طيب. فمن يذكرنا بفائدة أو بكلمة تعلمناها قبل. So who can give us a benefit or a new word that we had the honor to learn previously?
أخذنا كلمة جديدة عنوان.
طيب. تعلمنا كلمة عنوان. So from the vocabulary, the new words we had the honor to learn was the word عنوان. فكنا أو قلنا أن العنوان هو اسم الكتاب أو موضوع الكتاب أو ماذا عنوان البيت أو السكن. So we mentioned the word عنوان. It can be a title. It can also be a theme. It can also be an address. عنوان السكن, the address of the building or the house. Our sister says she can only listen right now. No problem. And our sister Velisi is sick, ya ikhwan. Make dua for our sister Velisi. And our beloved brother Sheikh Nakir. So make dua for our beloved sister Velisi. And our beloved brother Nakir is still healing from his operation. Make dua for all the Muslims, ya ikhwan. So the word unwan can be a title of a book. It can be a theme, title of a lecture or the likes. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. It can also be unwanul bayt or unwanul sakan, the address of a house or a place of residence. No. وَمَاذَا أَيْضًا. Who else can give us another benefit, ya ikhwan?
عند ظرف مكان والزمان ومضاف.
طيب جميلا. We benefited from the word عند, and we mentioned that عند, the type of word عند is a ظرف المكان, can also be ظرف الزمان, and it's also مضاف إليه. It's also مضاف إليه. So the word عند, the type of word it is a ظرف المكان, a preposition of place, and it can also be a preposition of time. Preposition of place, it can also be a preposition of time. Our brother says that the screen is not visible. Hold on, ya ikhwan. What about now, ya ikhwan? So, عند, you're going to write, is a preposition of place. Can also be a preposition of time. طيب كيف تكون كلمة واحدة شيئين? How can a word be two things? How can one word be two things? How can it be a preposition of place, a preposition of time? Because of the siyaq or the istikhdam, how it's used, or you can say على حسب السياق, على حسب السياق, based upon its usage, how it's being used, istikhdam, or you can say على حسب السياق, based upon the context, how it's being used. جميلا. طيب فنحن نمر على هذا الكتاب بسرعة, وهذا من فضل الله تعالى علينا. So we're moving in this book, ya ikhwan, quickly. Alhamdulillah. And that's from the bounty of Allah Ta'ala upon us. طيب نبدأ إن شاء الله. Let's begin إن شاء الله تعالى. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الكلمات الجديدة, the new words. يقرأ, he is reading or he reads. عنوان, an address or a theme or title. هجرة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, the migration of the messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام. لعلنا قرأنا هذا, and perhaps we read this already يا إخوان. طيب فائدة هنا. طيب a benefit here يا إخوان, استخدام الضمير. One benefit of this lesson here is using the pronouns. وهذا جميل وعظيم. And using the pronouns. الضمير واستخدام الضمير. Using the pronouns. استخدام الضمير. Using the pronouns. طيب ففي العربية يا إخوان ليس على المتكلم أن يستخدم نفس الكلمات متكررة. In Arabic, you don't have to use the same nouns over and over and over and over repetitively. فيمكننا أن نضيف أو نستخدم في مكان الاسم الضمير. That we can use in place of the nouns is pronouns. For example, قال, so he says, for example, طيب أنا قرأته. طيب. He says أنا قرأته. I read it. طيب. So the ضمير هنا يعود إلى شيء. So the pronoun, the it, goes back to something. Yes. But using it is eloquent. You don't have to be redundant. فنقول مثلا, for example, you say هل صليت صلاة الفجر. And you ترجم, who can translate? Hey, did you pray the Fajr prayer? طيب. هل صليت صلاة الفجر? Did you pray the صلاة? طيب. فيقول المخاطب, so the one that's being addressed, he says, our brother Ayub, وعليكم السلام, كيف أنت يا شيخ? كيف أنت الليلة? How are you tonight يا أخي في الله, لعلك بخير, أرجو أن تكون بخير. I pray that you're doing well, وعائلتك كذلك, and your family also. طيب. So that we say, هل صليت صلاة الفجر? Did you pray the Fajr prayer? And then the speaker, the mukhatab, the one who's being addressed, he says, Na'am sallaytu salata al-fajr. He says, yes, I prayed the Fajr prayer. طيب. يمكنه كذلك أن يستخدم الضمير في محل الاسم. But he can also use a pronoun. Get used to using pronouns يا إخوان. فعلينا أن نتعود في استخدام الضمير. So we have to get used to using pronouns. هذا في القرآن وهذا في السنة وهذا في اللغة العربية. You find this a lot in the Quran and in the Sunnah, and you find it a lot in the Arabic language. So he says, yes, I pray the Fajr prayer, the prayer of dawn, or the prayer before the morning. طيب. الآن نضيف أو نستخدم الكلمة أو نستخدم الضمير في مكان الاسم. So now we're going to use a pronoun in place of the noun. And this is eloquent to do. You don't always have to say the same word over and over and over. Did you see Ali? Yes, I saw Ali. Did you see Ali? Yes, I saw him. So now we're going to use a pronoun in its place. Na'am sallaytuha. Yes, I prayed it. It's very eloquent to do. Use the pronoun in place of the noun. Yes, I prayed it. Yes, I prayed it. It was already mentioned. كان مذكورا. فليس علينا أن نكررها ونكررها. It was already mentioned. So we don't have to keep saying it over and over. You can, but you don't have to. فعندما نستخدم الضمير علينا نركز على شيئين. So when you're using a pronoun, all you have to focus on is two things. وأخذنا هذا قبل. We learned this before يا إخوان. في استخدام الضمير نركز على شيئين. But when you're using a pronoun, you're just going to focus on two things. When we're using a pronoun, we're just going to focus on two things. Alright? Should be a tag. استخدام الضمير when using a pronoun نركز على شيئين. We're just going to focus on two things. من يذكر, who remembers? When using a pronoun, we're going to focus on two things. When using a pronoun, we're going to focus on two things.
The gender and the number.
أحسنتي. نعم, that's it. At أول, the first thing we're going to focus on is الجنس. الجنس. All you have to pay attention to when using a pronouns are two main things. الجنس, the gender, masculine or feminine. والعدد, and number two, the number. That's it. Number one, الجنس. And the second is العدد, the number. That's it. العدد, the jins, and then العدد, and the number. طيب. والفائدة الثانية, another benefit يا إخوان, قوله كيف أصبحتا. كيف أصبحتا. طيب, another benefit is the phrase كيف أصبحتا. أصبحتا. طيب, أصبح means to wake up or to enter into the morning. When the morning came, or when you woke up. It could be both. It could be one or two. Asbahtu, I woke up. Or in the morning, when the morning came, I did. So it can be two. Asbahtu, I woke up. When I woke up, or when the morning came. So kayfa asbahta is how did you wake? How did you wake up? نسمع هذا التعبير كثيرا في بلاد العرب. You hear this a lot in the Muslim world. كيف أصبحت? How did you awake? How are you in the morning time? When the nighttime comes, كيف أمسيت? How did you sleep? How were you when the evening came? وكما قال عبد الله بن عمر, and as Ibn Umar used to say, إذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح وإذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر المساء. As Ibn Umar used to say, والحديث في البخاري, when the nighttime comes, when you enter into the evening, don't wait for the morning. And when you wake up, when the morning time comes, when you enter into the morning, don't wait for the evening. وهذا صحيح. فعلينا أن نحافظ على الآن على الوقت الحاضر. So we have to centralize and preserve the right now, the current time. ما عندنا بعد الآن. We don't have after right now. لا. فعلينا أن نحافظ على الآن. So we have to preserve and focus on now. إذا أمسينا فلا ننتظر الصباح. So when the nighttime comes, when we enter into the night, don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. وإذا أصبحنا فلا ننتظر المساء. And when the morning time comes, when you wake up, when you enter into the morning, don't wait for the evening. وخذ من صحتك لمرضك. And take from your health before you become sick. ومن حياتك لموتك. And take from your life before you die. No. So he says, كيف أصبحت? So you would say, for example, أصبحت. I woke up كذا وكذا. أصبحت مسلما. For example, I woke up as a Muslim. والحمد لله. أصبحت مسلما. The female would say, أصبحت مسلمة. It's feminine now because she's feminine. So she would say, أصبحت مسلمة. I woke up as a Muslima. She's a female. So the male would say, I woke up as a Muslim. It's for the male. Musliman. The female would say, same thing. I woke up as a Muslima. A female Muslim. So here. There are many things you can say. أصبحت راضيا بالله. I woke up being pleased with Allah. أصبحت في نعمة الله. I woke up in the bounty of Allah. There are many things you can say. طيب فبالنسبة للضمير نركز على شيئين. So the pronoun, we're going to focus on two things. We're going to focus on two things. الجنس والعدد, the gender and the number. فمثلا كتبت الدرس. كتبت الدرس. I wrote the lesson. كتبت الدرس. I wrote the lesson. كتبت الدرس. طيب الدرس مفرد مثنى أو الجمع. The word درس, is it مفرد, singular, مثنى, dual, or جمع, plural? أبو زبير. أحسنت, مفرد. Our sister Nadira says مفرد. أبو زبير صحيح, مفرد. طيب عالية الدرس مذكر مؤنث, masculine or feminine? مذكر. So it's مفرد and it's also مذكر, masculine. That's all you gotta know. was masculine and singular. That's it. فإذا يكون مفردا ومذكرا نستخدم الضمير الذي يوافقه. So it's masculine and singular. So we use the pronoun that agrees with it. So now we say كتبت أو كتبته. كتبته. I wrote it. So it's masculine, it's singular. So we use the masculine pronoun. كتبته. If it's masculine, it's always going to be who in the third person. If it's feminine, it's always going to be ha. But this who can sometimes be he. على حسب الاستخدام, depending on how it's being used. The ha is always going to be ha. If it's feminine, it can't be anything else. The who can sometimes be he, depending on how it's being used. So it says كتبته. I wrote it. No. Okay. فنقول مثلا كيف شيخنا المصنعي حفظه الله. You say, how is our Shaykh al-Masna'i? May Allah preserve him. Oh yeah. كيف شيخنا المصنعي. How is our Shaykh al-Masna'i? And then we say هم بخير. And then we say هم بخير. They are good. هذا خطأ. And that's incorrect now. لأن الشيخ مفرد وهم لجمع. And then the person says they are good. And this will be incorrect because the word sheikh is singular and hum is the plural. So they have to agree a number. Sheikh is masculine and hum is masculine, but sheikh is mufradun and hum is jama' is plural. So they don't agree a number. فنقول مثلا, we say for example, I was talking to our brother Akil Ingram. So we say كيف المسلمون عندكم? How are the Muslims in your city? So we say كيف المسلمون عندكم? How about the Muslims with you? So here we can't say هي بخير. She is well. Because Muslimun is plural. Wa mudhakkar. And here is mufrada and mu'annatha. So they have to agree in number and in gender. طيب هذا مفهوم عندكم. This is understood to all of you. جميلا
نعم.
جميلا. طيب مواصلة. Let's continue. قال ماذا تقرأ وتكتب. What are you writing and reading? It can also be what is she reading and writing. ماذا تقرأ وتكتب. What are you reading and what are you writing? Or it could be what is she reading and what is she writing? ماذا تكتب. What are you writing? طيب اقرأ يا أبا زبير الكلمة الأولى. Read the first word. أبو زبير.
يكتب.
طيب يكتب. He is writing. يكتب. He is writing. Or can also be he writes. يكتب. Or it can be it is writing. It can be he or it. طيب آلية تفضلي. Next word.
والد.
طيب والد بمعنى أب. Has the meaning of أب. Father. معنى أب. Meaning of father. أب. طيب أبا زبير تفضل.
صديق.
طيب صديق. صديق is a companion, comrade, a friend, a buddy, a friend. طيب تفضلي. Next word. عالية تفضلي.
تحية.
طيب تحية. طيب تحية is like when you're greeting someone. تحية. They say تحية المسجد when you're greeting the masjid. You first come in the masjid, so it's like you're greeting the masjid, your introduction to the masjid. First thing you do, or from the first thing you do. Tahiyyatun, when you're introducing yourself to someone. Tahiyya. Introducing someone to someone. Introduction. نقول هذا أبا زبير وهذا شيخ نكير. So I say this is Abu Zubayr and this is Sheikh Nakir. طيب. طيب next word. تفضل.
عرف يعرف.
طيب جميلا. Our next word عرف. To recognize, to know, be acquainted with. عرف in the مضارع يعرف. To know, to be aware of, be acquainted with, to recognize, come to know. طيب تفضلي. next word أم عالية.
القراءة.
طيب القراءة هذا مصدر من قرأ. So قرأ is the verb. The مصدر is قراءة. قرأ to read. قراءة reading. It can be recitation or it could be a general reading. The intent can be tajweed, and the intent can also be a general reading. Some scholars prefer, for example, in the Jumu'ah, whenever you read the verse, that they will recite it. This is the position of our Shaykh Muhammad Imaam. He takes those hadith in which they say, ثُمَّ تَلَا. Sometimes the narrations, they are detailed. Ibn Abbas says sometimes, and then the Prophet تَلَا. ثُمَّ تَلَا. ثُمَّ تَلَا. And then he recited. Tala means to recite, not to read. Sometimes it says, and then he, the Prophet, recited. So some scholars say here, they said he recited. So they recite the verses in Jumu'ah when they come across them. Sometimes it says, ثُمَّ قَرَأَ, and then he read. So recitation and reading is slightly different. Reciting is one thing, reading is something else. Some of the scholars, whenever they read the verses, the Shaykh is in Jumu'ah, and he says, وَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. And Allah Ta'ala says, الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Al-ayah. So he recites it, because sometimes it says, and then he recited it. Other scholars say, no, that's just for the prayer. So they differ there. But some scholars take the actual ظاهر الكلمة, the apparent meaning of the word, which is a strong argument. If it said tala, that's recite. Tala is different than qara'a. Qara'a is a reading. And you have some scholars who prefer, when you memorize different mutun, that you recite them when you read them. Some scholars prefer that. Other scholars say, no, tajweed is only for the Quran. And that appears to be the strongest. Wallahu a'lam. And the طيب فضل يا أبا زبير.
طيب كتابة.
طيب كتابة مصدر من كتب. طيب كتابة is a verb or noun from كتب. كتابة writing. You say كتابتي ضعيفة. My writing is weak. I say for example كتابتي ضعيفة. My writing is weak. كتابتي ضعيفة.
Yeah, somebody said something to him, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness. I've never been in a situation like that before, and it was kind of like an opportunity for me, but I don't know if I would be able to take it.
Assalamu alaikum.
I think I would.
طيب let's begin يا إخوان. إلى حرف جار. إلى is a preposition. طيب نقرأ الحوار بين عمر والإسماعيل. Now we have a dialogue between Umar and Ismail. طيب أبو زبير بعمر ومعالي بإسماعيل.
ماذا تكتب يا إسماعيل؟ أكتب رسالة.
طيب so it's Umar says, what are you writing, Ismail? Oh Ismail. Ismail says, I'm writing a letter.
لا إلى صديقتي. عفوا لا إلى صديقي.
So he says, to your father. He says, no, to my friend, to my companion. Who is he? Ahmed al-Nijiri from Nigeria. So he says, أعرفه, I know him. تحياتي إليه, like I was introduced to him. I know him. I met him. No. Also, tahiyya can be like when you give someone compliments. Also, you say at-tahiyyatu lillahi, as it comes in the narration. And the tahajjud, one of the wording is at-tahiyyatu lillahi. At-tahiyyatu lillahi. At-tahiyyatu. At-tahiyyatu lillahi. At-tahiyya is like those good words, those good compliments. Tahiyyati ilayhi, like my good compliments, my good words to him. Like that. It's another way you can use it too. So he says, Tahiyyati ilayhi. Tahiyyati ilayhi. I give him my best. Give him my compliments. Give him my good words. No. Tahiyyati ilayhi. My good words, my good compliments to him. Perhaps this person has some manners. Oh, send him my salams. Tahiyyati ilayhi. My regards. Like that. Many times we only speak bad about one another. We don't really, for example, even if sometimes we don't get along, one of the best ways to mend the hearts. Oh, tell the brother I asked about him. Allahu Akbar. And maybe the thing that's between your reality is not that major. One brother said, why don't you pray up Germantown Masjid? I say, alhamdulillah, give the brothers my salams when you see them. Tell those brothers keep up the good work. Alhamdulillah. I don't pray there, yes. But I still want good for those brothers. They're still my brothers in Islam. I still want Allah Ta'ala to honor them and to forgive them and to pardon them of their errors and their shortcomings, if they have any. So you still mention them in a good light. I don't agree with everything they say. No. They're still my brother. I still want good for them. And it's how the Muslim should be, ikhwan. Many times, I don't get along with him. Okay, so you don't want good for him? Of course, that's your Muslim brother. The origin of Islam is al-ukhuwa, is brotherhood and sisterhood, for example. And that's something that we forget a lot. No. Alhamdulillah. May Allah make us all better, ya ikhwan. طيب. نبدأ. قال التمرين الأول. Exercise number 1. استمع وردد. Listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. طيب, I'll say it, you say it. I'll say it, you say it. آلية. يقرأ عمر درس.
يقرأ عمر الدرس.
أحسنت. أبو زبير. يقرأ عمر الدرس.
يقرأ عمر الدرس.
نعم. عمر is reading the lesson. طيب. آلية. يقرأ عمر الكتاب.
يقرأ عمر الكتاب.
جميلا. أبو زبير. يقرأ عمر الكتاب.
يقرأ عمر الكتاب.
Umar is reading the book. آلية. يقرأ عمر الرسالة.
يقرأ عمر الرسالة.
جميلا. أبو زبير. يقرأ عمر الرسالة.
يقرأ عمر الرسالة.
Umar is reading the letter. No. طيب. آلية. يكتب عمر الدرس.
يكتب عمر الدرس.
جميلا. أبو زبير. يكتب عمر الدرس.
يكتب عمر الدرس.
Umar is writing the lesson. آلية. يكتب عمر الرسالة.
يكتب عمر رسالته.
جميلا. أبو زبير. يكتب عمر الرسالة.
يكتب عمر رسالته.
جميلا. عمر is reading the letter. Umar Afwan is writing the letter. Allahu Akbar. Our sister Sakina is here. I don't know why I can't see my list. I used to get see when everyone logs on. It'll give me a notification. I would see your name. Now I can't see when the people log on all the time. I have to play with the settings, inshallah, to check it. Before, when you guys will log on, I would know automatically who's there, who just came in the room. Now I can't see the room. طيب. Our sister Sakina is here also. Sakina, تفضلي. يكتب عمر الرسالة.
يكتب عمر الرسالة.
جميلا. Umar is writing the letter. أبو زبير. يكتب عمر العنوان.
يكتب عمر العنوان.
جميلا. عنوان.
عنوان.
آلية. يكتب عمر العنوان.
يكتب عمر العنوان.
جميلا. سكينة. يكتب عمر العنوان.
يكتب عمر العنوان.
جميلا. Umar is writing the unwan. He could be writing the title, he could be writing the theme, or he could be writing the address. No, address and theme is almost the same. طيب, it could be an address of a place. No. طيب, لا بأس لا بأس. طيب, قال الثاني, exercise number 2. اقرأ أو استمع وردد. Listen and repeat. Same thing we just were doing. I'll say it, you say it. I'll say it, you say it. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. طيب, أبا زبير, يكتب عمر إلى أحمد.
يكتب عمر إلى أحمد.
أحسنت. سكينة, يكتب عمر إلى أحمد.
يكتب عمر إلى أحمد.
جميلا. عمر is writing to Ahmed. Umar is writing to Ahmed. أبا زبير, يكتب عمر إلى والده.
يكتب عمر إلى والده.
Good. سكينة, يكتب عمر إلى والده.
يكتب عمر إلى والده.
Good. Umar is writing to his father. To his father. Our sister says she's back. Allahu Akbar. طيب, Sister Nadira, you can read the next one, inshallah. Sister Nadira, يكتب عمر إلى والده.
يكتب عمر إلى والده.
Good. Umar is writing to his walid, his father, his Abi. No. Allahu Akbar. طيب. Next one. Alia, I'll say it, you say it. الدرس سهل جدا. لا بأس, I think Mali stepped away. Abu Zubayr, الدرس سهل جدا.
الدرس سهل جدا.
Good. سكينة, الدرس سهل جدا.
الدرس سهل جدا.
Good. نادرة, الدرس سهل جدا.
الدرس سهل جدا.
ما شاء الله. The lesson is extremely easy or very easy. طيب, أبو زبير, الباب قديم جدا.
الباب قديم جدا.
ما شاء الله. سكينة, الباب قديم جدا.
الباب قديم جدا.
نادرة, الباب قديم جدا.
الباب قديم جدا.
ما شاء الله. The door is very old or extremely old. أبا زبير, الدرس جديد جدا.
الدرس جديد جدا.
سكينة, الدرس جديد جدا.
الدرس جديد جدا.
ما شاء الله, أحسنت. نادرة, الدرس جديد جدا.
الدرس جديد جدا.
ما شاء الله. طيب, so جدا is a word of, you could say a word of emphasis. It's emphasizing, but that's not the type of word it is. It emphasizes, but it's not a word of emphasis. So it's not, it does like inna, for example, but inna is a harfu ta'kid. Inna is a word of emphasis. Inna is harfu ta'kid. So inna is a particle of emphasis. Jiddan does it, but it's not that type of word. This one prays, but he's not Muslim. But he prays. He calls upon Allah from time to time, but he's not Muslim. Like that. So then, in English it would be an adverb, but there's no adverbs in Arabic. They have what looks like an adverb, but it's technically that type of word is not there. So jiddan is actually, I think it's a maf'ulun mutlaq. No. So here, when he says al-babu qadimun jid, al-babu qadimun jiddan. It's like he said, inna al-baba qadimun. It's like he said that in a different way. So when you say al-babu qadimun jiddan, the door is old, very, meaning very old. It's like you said, inna al-baba qadimun. It's like you said, verily the door is old. The door is very old. So they're slightly different in meaning. The door is very old. Verily the door is old. So you did the same thing in two different ways without using the same type of word. You can use particles of emphasis, or you can use words that emphasize without being particles of emphasis. That happens also.
So would you call it like a harfu katali, meaning harfu katoki? You have cat tools that make it, you know how the cat usually is harfu
Toki. Now that will be like inna, because you have some letters and some particles, some type of words that they are particles of this thing. And then you have other words that they're not that type of word, but they do what that word does. For example, we learned previously ala. We learned ala, and we learned fi, and we learned ila, and we learned min. Min. Where's my Arabic? Alright. So these words, they are hurufu jar, prepositions. طيب. Ala, upon or above. Fi, above or in or inside or regarding. Ila, to or towards. Min, from. طيب. And then we learn amama. And we learn wara'a. And we learn fawqa. So we learned amama, from, to, in, upon. And then we learned amama, in front of. طيب. And then we learn wara'a, behind, and then we learn fawqa, above. And we learn in front of. The first list, hurufu jar, prepositions. Second is dhuruf, prepositions of place or time. So they're similar words, but they look like they do the exact same thing. If we say, for example, Muhammadun fil bayt, bin alif. Muhammad is in the house. Right? Fi. What does fi do? يجعل الاسم مجرورا. It makes the noun that comes after a genitive. طيب. Then we say Muhammadun amama al-bayt. Muhammad is in front of the house. Amama, in front of. Al-bayt, bayti. So on the surface, it looks like they do the same thing. Fi made the noun genitive. Amama makes the noun genitive. But for two different reasons. So a word can do something that another word does without being from that type of word. That happens a lot. So fi made the noun genitive because it's a majroor. Amama makes the noun genitive because it's the mudaf. But on the surface, they look like they do the exact same thing. This one prayed to Jesus. Billah. This one prayed to Allah. He prayed. On the surface, they look the same. In the detail, they're extremely different. This one made a ghusl because it was hot. This one made a ghusl because it was Jumu'ah. On the surface, they look like they did the exact same action. The reward is different. The intricate details are different. This one seeks knowledge for titles and status, position, fame, women, keys to the masajid. This one wants the reward of Allah. Same action, same mashaykh, same classes. The intricate details are different. So inna is a particle of emphasis. Jiddan can be used to emphasize, but it's not a particle of emphasis. No. May Allah bless you all, ya ikhwan. And I believe it's a maf'ul mutlaq. No. طيب. Let's finish our last part, ya ikhwan. We did a lot today, alhamdulillah. This book is, as we mentioned, is an easy book. We should be done within 20 lessons or so. Hopefully, we'll be done. And then we'll start level 2. Level 2 is when we're going to know if we're serious about Arabic or not. If we continue. Level 2, it gets a little more tricky, a little more detail, a lot more memorizing. We have to be a little more diligent. طيب, I'll say it, you say it. Whose turn? Sakina. القراءة سهلة جدا. ما شاء الله. أبو زبير. القراءة سهلة جدا.
القراءة سهلة جدا.
الله أكبر. نذيرة. القراءة سهلة جدا.
القراءة سهلة جدا.
Good. So now he says the reading is very easy. طيب, now pay attention here يا إخوان. عندنا هنا المبتدأ مذكر والخبر عليه أن يوافق. So pay attention here. So now we have the خبر. الدرس سهل. The lesson is easy. الدرس سهل. طيب, الدرس here موضوع الجملة is the subject of the sentence. The lesson, what about the lesson? It's easy. The sentence يتكلم أو تتكلم عن الدرس. It's talking about the lesson. So the lesson is موضوع الجملة. the subject of the sentence. Some scholars teach the noun that starts the sentence, but that's vague, that's general, because you don't have to start the sentence and you can still be the subject. The lesson is easy. So ad-dars here is the mubtada. Ad-darsu al-mubtada. Al-mubtada. So the word ad-dars is the mubtada, the subject, the theme of the sentence. Al-mubtada, the subject. Al-mubtada, the subject. There's a grammatical definition for mubtada. We'll save that. Right now we're going to say موضوع الجملة, an easier meaning. I want you to write موضوع الجملة, the subject of the sentence. We'll give the technical grammatical definition that is mentioned in tuhfa and other than tuhfa, inshallah. طيب المبتدأ المبتدأ, we're going to give a general meaning here. I want you to write موضوع الجملة, the subject of the sentence. That's it. موضوع الجملة, the subject, the theme, the base of the sentence. The sentence is talking about the theme, the subject of the sentence. موضوع الجملة, the theme, not the descriptions. No. The girl is tall. What are you talking about? The girl, not her height. The food is good. What are you talking about? The food. The masjid is open. What are you talking about? Open? No. The masjid. The garment is burgundy. You talking about the color? No. The garment. الدرس سهل. The lesson is easy. الدرس سهل. What are you talking about? The lesson. Then we complete the meaning of the lesson with ease. You're not describing it. No. There's no describer. There's no adjective here. That's why people confuse the khabar for the sifa. In English, we would say it describes. No. That's the adjective. That's the sifa in Arabic. So here, there's no describer. The lesson is easy. But there's no describer here. It looks like a describer, but there's no sifa. One of the easiest ways to identify is a shakl. You're going to look at the shape of the words. Meaning, ma'rifa, ma'rifa, nakira, nakira. When we say shape, we mean if you see alif wa lam on one and you don't see alif wa lam on the other, then they don't have the same shape. Then there's no sifa. One is going to be the mubtada, one is going to be the khabar. The khabar هو الذي يتم معنى المبتدأ. And we'll say that later when we get technical. The khabar completes the meaning of the mubtada. It doesn't describe it. If you describe it, we would say الدرس السهل. Now we're describing it. الدرس السهل. One of the easiest ways, look at the shape. If they agree, معرفة ألف ولام. معرفة ألف ولام. They agree. Now you have a صفة and the موصوف. Oh, no. Now it is the easy lesson. So they agree. صفة والموصوف. They don't agree. مبتدأ والخبر. One of the easiest ways to identify alif lam on one, no alif lam on the other. Ma'rifa, nakira. If they agree, ma'rifa, alif lam, ma'rifa, alif lam. So they agree. They look exactly alike or alike. So this is the sifa. طيب. كلامنا عن المبتدا والخبر. Now we're talking about the mubtada and the khabar. So they have to agree also. So if the mubtada is masculine, then the khabar has to be masculine. So if you say ad-darusu, ad-darus is masculine. So the khabar has to also be masculine. Sahlun. The lesson is easy. Masculine, masculine. وإذا يكون المبتدأ مؤنثا, and if the mubtada is feminine, على الخبر أن يكون مؤنثا, then the khabar has to also be feminine. Our sister says, never heard it explained like that. Very good and easy to understand. May Allah bless you. May Allah raise you. We try our best to make it as easy as we can, ya ikhwan. If you can make it easy, it becomes easier to comprehend.
كيف يقول العربية agree.
طيب وافق وافق وافق. You can also say لائم لائم. To agree. Because in English, and that's why I don't like referring to English a lot, ya ikhwan, especially when you're learning another language. Because most times, the rules differ. So if I'm referring back to a language that contradicts the language I'm learning, then I'm already lost. The way I'm trying to learn it is lost. I'm referring to something that here contradicts what I'm learning. But one of the easiest ways, if you say مثلا المسجد الكبير, and then you say المسجد كبير, they look alike. Two different sentences. Well, actually, the first one is not a sentence. المسجد الكبير. It's not complete yet. The big masjid. The second one is a sentence. Masjidun or al-masjidu kabirun. First one, the large mosque. The big mosque. Second, the mosque is big or large. One of the easiest ways. انظروا إلى الشكل. Look at the shape. هل الثاني يوافق مع الأول? Does the second word agree with the first? What does it mean agree here? The shape. معرفة معرفة. Definite, definite. Alif wa lam, alif wa lam. So they agree. If they agree, then there's a sifa, not the khabar. So al-kabir here is the sifa, not the khabar. You're describing the masjid. You're not completing it. The large mosque, I'm describing it. Sifa. Second, المسجد كبير. هل يوافق الثاني مع الأول? Does the second agree with the first? No. كبير نكرة, indefinite. Masjid definite. Look at the shape. Alif lam. I'm trying to highlight this raw. It's not letting me. Alif lam on the first. Does the second have alif lam? No. لا يوافق. So he doesn't agree. So now you have a mubtada and a khabar. That's the easiest way. Look at the shape. Alif lam, alif lam. If it's not a ma'rifah and the second is ma'rifah, then they agree. If the first is ma'rifah and the second is nakira, la yuwafiqu, then they don't agree. So if the mubtada is mu'annath, is feminine, then the khabar has to be feminine. Al-muslimatu. La. The female Muslim is big. Or we won't say big, we don't want our women to get offended. طيب كبير في العلم, in her knowledge. علما, is big in knowledge, meaning she has vast knowledge. المسلمة, the female Muslim, كبير علما, is big in knowledge, is vast in knowledge. But kabir is masculine, so we have to change that and make it agree. Kabiratun, because muslimatun is feminine, so the khabar has to also be feminine. Al-muslima ma'rifa, definite. Kabiratun nakira, indefinite. Easier than that, look at the shape. Alif lam, no alif lam. So muslima will be the mubtada, kabiratun will be the khabar. طيب 3 more sentences يا إخوان, and then we'll...
from Nils Jafria.
طيب I'll say it, you say it. أبا زبير, الكتابات صعبة جدا.
Come from Nils
الكتابة صعبة جدا.
Good. سكينة, الكتابة صعبة جدا. الله أكبر. نذيرة, الكتابة صعبة جدا.
الكتابة صعبة جدا.
Good. The writing is difficult. Very, meaning very difficult. Extremely difficult. Maybe that person is writing is like mine. My writing, I want to write like a Arab. I don't have that Arab flow. When I write, it look like I'm American. Man, I bless you. طيب. أبو زبير, الحقيبة جديدة جدا.
الحقيبة جديدة جدا.
Good. سكينة, الحقيبة جديدة جدا. ما شاء الله. نذيرة, الحقيبة جديدة جدا.
الحقيبة جديدة جدا.
ما شاء الله. أحسنتي. The bag or the briefcase is new, very is very new. The briefcase or the bag is very new. طيب للواجب أريدكم أن تواصلوا في القراءة. For homework, I want you to continue the reading on this page, the next page 86 and 87. Always try to read a couple pages in advance. One of the benefits of this book, if you focus on your reading, later on it's going to increase you in your speech also. Remember, ya ikhwan, the Arabic language is already fast. So you don't have to speak it fast. It's already fast. But you want to make sure you have clarity, you're pronouncing correctly, and you're saying what's there. Some of our brothers and sisters, يركزون على السرعة ويخطئون كثيرا من أجله, that they focus on the speed of it. So they make a lot of errors because they're focused on the speed. There's no need to focus on the speed. It's already fast. When you say it slow, you're still saying it fast because it's a fast language. You read words together, not like in English, word by word. No, in Arabic, sometimes you read these 3 words together as if they're one. So it's already naturally fast. But if you focus on the speed of it, you do like many of us, may Allah forbid, where we say what's not there. Sometimes we say, for example, and the Prophet sallam, the word is sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We're saying it so fast, we're not saying what's there. This should be a lam. Alayhi wasallam. So we focus on the surah, the speed. So now, when I say what's not there. So I said in the Prophet sallam, sallam. So we make a lot of error focusing on what we shouldn't focus on. And a benefit, many of the major scholars, Sheikh Saleh Al-Luhaydan rahimallah, Sheikh Saleh Fawzan, who else speaks extremely slow? Sheikh Abdul Razak, he's not from the major scholars yet, but he's a sneeze away. But he speaks super slow. Sheikh Saleh Al-Sheikh from the major scholars speaks extremely slow. And what I found is that when the scholars become older, they become more relaxed in their delivery. And the younger mashaykh, they're faster. But for us just starting out, I don't want you to focus on the speed. No, that's going to come naturally later. Right now, you want to focus on what's said, what's actually there. Make sure you're reading it and you're pronunciating correctly. And you're going to see naturally, you're going to get faster and faster and faster. But don't be like most of us. We're focusing on the speed of it. We're not really saying what's there. We think we are. In our minds, we are. But we're not. So I want you to read a couple pages in advance, inshallah. You can stop on 80, 88. And we'll continue, inshallah ta'ala, in the next class. We stop today at the reading on page 85. And may Allah bless you all. وَإِنْ أَصَبْتُ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ وَإِنْ أَخْطَأْتُ فَمِنْ نَفْسِي. Anything that we said that's correct is from Allah. Anything that we said is incorrect is from ourselves. وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ. And we seek refuge with Allah Ta'ala from that. وَسُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ أَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ أَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.